Hi, I'm Tom Deacon, presenting this latest How to See It Now. In this episode, we're looking at how using the right tools and equipment in a workshop video can add value to the end result. Making a video in the workshop comes with its own unique set of challenges. The camera is usually pointed at the dark underside of the vehicle. It can be hard to see parts or point at things while keeping everything in view. Using the right tools can help with this. A customer is also unlikely to be familiar with knowing how worn a part is, so visually showing it can help to give them a reference. For example, when measuring tyre depth, we recommend taking readings with a tyre gauge across 3 cross sections. It will also help a customer to know how far they are from needing a replacement and how much tread is on a new tyre. The same can be said for using a brake gauge. Do you know what a red, amber or green brake thickness looks like? Well, you might if you work in the industry or are into your cars, but for many it will be a totally new concept. A visual aid like a brake gauge helps demystify what the technician is explaining when talking about brake condition. We've queued up a few examples of videos taken in the workshop which make good use of the tools, along with good explanations that help a customer understand the context of the parts being shown.
Moving on now to your near side front tyre and measuring the tread depths, 5.5, 5.2 and 5.3 millimeters. This tyre is perfectly fine for today, will appear in green on your VHC. Manufacturers recommend replacing a tyre at 3 millimeters and the legal limit is 1.6. Moving on now to your near side front brake disc and measuring the thickness, 22.51 millimeters. That is perfectly fine for today. Minimum thickness set by Ford is 21 millimeters. And measuring your front brake pads with the pad wear indicators, 8 millimeters remaining on your front brake pads. They're approximately 20% worn, all okay for today. Near side front suspension components, lower arm, CV boot drive shaft, anti-roll bar link steering arm, and up there shock absorber and spring assembly, all in good condition.
This video is a really clear example of how tools can be used well to visually communicate the meaning behind the numbers and the colour schemes. The introduction explains the meaning behind the red, amber, green status, moving on to readings of the tyres being taken across each cross section. We can clearly see each measurement being taken and the numbers that appear on the depth gauge tool. Whilst not always possible or convenient to have the wheels off the car, in this case it really helped with showing otherwise hard to show measurements. The brake disc wear and the brake pad wear. The disc caliper gauge was nicely shown in position with its reading and confirmation of the wear amount. The brake pad gauge was also easier to see without the wheel on and was clearly shown to the customer. Following this, each wear component is pointed out and named to help understand what is being referenced. It's worth watching the rest of the video to see the remainder of the VHC and a good close to a video.
If this whole face was shiny like the outside, you're actually using the full face of that disc, but because of the corrosion, it's not using the full face of that brake disc just there. So I would like to recommend front discs and pads to be fitted to the vehicle. In comparison with the new set, as you can see, nice clean surface across the face of the disc there, and the new brake pad comes in at around about 12 millimeters. So comparison just there.
Nice touch was having a new pad and disc to show as a comparison, helping the customer compare the wear levels and see the difference between a slightly corroded disc and a new one.
Where I currently have the oil draining. As you can see, we are now going to go over to the near side front tyre and once again demonstrate the treads. So you've got 3 mil of tread left on the inner edge, 2.9 in the centre and 2.8 on the outer. Now I have put this tyre down as a red as the treads are close to the legal limit of 1.6 mil and I do advise the replacement of the near side front tyre.
During this service, the technician used the tyre gauge to demonstrate the depth across each part of the tyre, showing the customer the reading from the gauge and explaining the proximity to the legal limit. At the start of the video, before we play the clip, he shows the gauge reset at 0 to help see that it's reading accurately. The torch on the device helped keep the underside of the vehicle visible, and it was a nice touch showing the oil plug out with the last few drops of oil draining away, giving the customer extra confidence that the service was being fully carried out. We've put links below in the description to all of the videos seen in the episode, so you can watch them in full. While you're there, if you like this video, please click like, and if you're not already, please subscribe to the channel and click the bell icon so you can be notified when new videos are published. Thanks, and we'll see you next time.